It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Saint Feuillien, and it's a bottle of their Saison, coming in at 6.5% ABV in a 330 milliliter bottle. They've been brewing beer since 1873. There's a look at the bottle cap. Without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. Ooh, ooh, wow. Can you see the carbonation? What a well-behaved, for a Saison and for a beer with so much smoke on the opening, what a well-behaved opening on this beer. Lots of yeast and bits and pieces floating around. Look at that. Look at the yeast suspension in the glass. I got to roll the glass around maybe just to really show you. It's all around. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. Look at that. Don't be alarmed. Don't be frightened. Don't be worried. It's Belgian beer. Belgian beer is yeast forward. It's all about getting the flavour from the yeast rather than how the rest of the world brews, and that's pulling flavour from hops and malts. The Belgians, yes, there's a combination of hops. Yes, there's a combination of malts that bring flavour. But it's mainly, I would say, the yeast, the Saison yeast that they use in the beer to pull the flavours from this one. So for 6.5% ABV, we got a 3-finger white head, as I've just mentioned. Hazy. There's tyres and shopping trolleys and all sorts in this beer. Look at that. I'd say a light amber coloured beer. Let's get the aroma. Oh, and carbonation. Let's talk about the carbonation. Yeah, there's enough carbonation in this beer. Let's get the aroma. Fabulous, fabulous. I bought this beer in Tesco, one of the large Tesco extra stores, a couple of months ago. And it was great to see a Saison, from a proper Belgian brewery, Saint Feuillien. They brew some fantastic beers, and it's great to see that you can now pick them up in Tesco, albeit the larger stores. Farmhousey, horse blanket, funky, malty. Let's dive in. Cheers, everyone. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely beer. What I like from a Belgian Saison is that combination between the horse blanket, the funkiness, and the sweetness from the malt. Biscuity and bready, lemon-like, good levels of carbonation. Funky. It's the yeast. There's a pepperiness, a spiciness from the hops, and it's just. It almost sent me into a little trance there. I was almost kind of like daydreaming, you know, just like falling away from the beer review. But that's just the quality of the beer. That's just the, I mean, at 6.5% ABV, this is definitely session strength. I say session strength, it shouldn't be session strength, but it's just so drinkable, just so. You could attempt a session at a 6.5. It's so drinkable. sweet, biscuity, grainy malts. Oh, it's fantastic. Beautiful beer. I'm a massive fan. I've been to the brewery it was about 4 or 5 years ago now. Maybe 5 years ago I went to the brewery, and yeah, it was tremendous. Really good kind of like experience to be had there. I think I drank their Grand Cru. If I remember rightly, they give me some of their Grand Cru, and it was just mind-blowing stuff. Mind-blowing stuff. The beer's kept its head reasonably well. Lovely carbonation. Look at the conditioning of the beer as I rock the beer back and forth. Great stuff. Yeah. I mentioned it briefly earlier. Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed by all that yeast and stuff in the glass. It's all vitamin D. It's how the beer is fermented. It's how they kind of create the carbonation in the beer. Then the second fermentation process in the beer. They add a little bit of yeast. They might add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of Belgian sugar into the beer. The yeast mops up the rest of the residual sugars and turns it into carbonation, and that's how for thousands of years beers have been carbonated, not by machine. So yeah, I mean, you can either leave the last little bit in the bottle, but I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna drink it all, or the glass, should I say. Leave a little bit in the glass if you don't want to drink it. I'll drink it all. What do they say about this beer then? Some Feuillien Saison is a traditional farmhouse ale, a top fermented, unfiltered classic. Thanks to secondary fermentation in the bottle, Saison has an unmistakable flavour of rich nuances and a slight tang. Very quickly, forgot to mention it, Saison, the style, was first brewed by French farmers. This was brewed by, and it was for the French farm workers. On a hot summer's day in France, the workers might slack a little bit. They might be feeling a little bit, I've had the sun on my back all day, and the farmer would produce this saison, this farmhouse kind of saison for the workers, with maybe some cheese or some bread, and it would be enough to revitalise them. You know, you've had a beer and then they get cracking, they get working for the rest of the afternoon. A nice gesture from the farmer, and that's where the Saison style of beer comes from. Okay, ready to rate it. St. Feuillien Saison, dry hopping, they put on the label. I like that enough to give it a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!